Hey, it's Thomas. Could I ask you a couple of quick favors before we roll the podcast? One is if you're liking this podcast, go to iTunes if you would and just leave a quick review and 5 stars. There's something astrological about 5 stars. I'm just not sure what, but it would really help the podcast. And also check out my other one. It's called Subconscious Mind Mastery. All right, let's roll. Well, it is that time of the month again. We got a full moon on our hands today. Hey, TGIF on top of that. Thomas Miller here with the Fun Astrology podcast for Friday, April 19th. There is so much going on in the chart. I want to keep this short, but boy, we got to rock and roll because there is a lot going on that we need to talk about. Okay, obviously the full moon. Now, this is an interesting full moon. First of all, it goes full at 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time. And when it goes full, it will be at 29 degrees Libra. Now, there's 30 degrees in a sign, so at 29 degrees, it's right there at the end. That's called anaretic in astrology. Again, if you want to look that term up, you can do your own research. It's called anaretic. The very short description is that it kind of is like a stutter. It's like a boom, 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 like you don't get all the way through. It's like if you got to pause. Like that. So what it's doing is it's stuttering at the last little bit there because it's just exhausting that Libra energy before it kicks into Scorpio energy. So by the time you're having lunch today, the moon is going to be up in Scorpio a couple of degrees, well on its way in. But on its way out, it can get a little stuck. So might not affect you much today, but it will be an early thing. But like this morning could be a little sticky if you feel that. Okay, another dynamic with the moon. It is in opposition to Uranus and the sun. We'll be talking more about this in the days ahead next week because the sun is getting ready to be in conjunction or aligned at the same point with Uranus. Right now, they're still a couple of degrees apart, but both are in a definite opposition to the moon. And that just invites weirdness. That's about the best way I can explain it. It just is like Uranus is change for the sake of change and no other reason or explanation required. Stuff comes out of the blue like you just don't even expect anything. Boom, there it is. And your sun, so that's right, that's you, that's your personality, that's your shining, that's your radiance, is getting ready to be in total alignment with it. I mean, the energy is there now. It's just going to be getting stronger as we move into next week. And then your emotional side. So if you have some reason that you just get emotional and there's no explanation for it, tell your partner now. Text your partner after you listen to this podcast. If I say anything over the next 48 hours that doesn't make any sense, please forgive me in advance. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Be a great way to handle it. They'll go, I'm listening to this podcast. Don't worry about it. Just saying. And it's the pink moon. Why do we call it a pink moon? Because it's going to be pink in the sky. No, it's not. It's not going to be any color except the color of the moon, whatever that color is in your geographic area. Pink moon because it's basically the spring. Farmer's Almanac also called it the egg moon. So you can call it whatever you want. You'll see some headlines around that. It is not going to be pink. Don't go out there and try to look at it through rose-colored glasses. It's going to be the same old moon. Now, there are some really delicious little setups that I'm liking in the rest of this chart. Okay, here's one that a lot of people would say is tense. I kind of like this. The moon is semi-square to Neptune. How could you use that? Well, I would put my intuitive game plan on for the next couple of days. So you have the moon. That's your emotional sensitivity. That's spirituality. That's your subconscious. That's your heightened awareness. Put that with Neptune's deep, watery emotions and spiritual insight and perception, and you've got a great combination. Now, I'm loving this other one also, and that is Venus, the planet. Venus is in a favorable aspect with Mars. You want to make love today, baby? It would be a great day to do it. Also, Venus is getting ready to conjunct Mercury. Now, that's still a little ways out, but what does that mean? That means your communication around love is getting ready to get a lot better over the next few days. It's moving in that direction, so just ride the surf. It's headed that way. You might as well jump on board. Now, a lot of astrologers are looking at Mercury sitting in a conjunction now with Chiron, the wounded healer. And yes, that is of particular note. So around your relationships and around your communication, just be aware that, yes, that wounded healer, in other words, is there some unresolved karma? Is there something that you need to address? Is there something that maybe that relationship or that communication could trigger from somebody else? All those things have to be taken into consideration. So while you can ramp up your love communication, do it in a way that you know is going to move you in a direction. Like do it for the other person, not yourself. See, look out, not in. What can I give, not what can I get? Also would be a really great time to take your journal and look back at past relationships. And this can be a love relationship or not, just any relationships with other human beings, with employers, with clients, you get the idea, with your kids. And look at all the aspects of your relationships across the board. Just kind of fillet everything out. Is there something here that I need to work on? Or look at, just review lessons that you've learned from the past that you can accentuate, like that you can step up and grow into over the next, well, I wouldn't put a time frame on it. I would just keep growing into it. But in other words, just to relodge that in your mind, this is a really good time for that as well. So there's a lot going on this Good Friday and this Easter weekend if you're celebrating that. But again, we've talked about a lot. Just to re-summarize, the moon is opposite the sun and Uranus, and the sun and Uranus are getting ready to be in conjunction next week. Watch out for the weirdness. You've got the heightened intuitive characteristic going on with Neptune. Take advantage of that. Lean into that. You've got the whole Mercury, Venus, Chiron thing going on, so watch that energy. And did I mention Venus is in a favorable quintile relationship with Mars? Ooh, Venus and Mars. Put some power into your love. You know what I would do? I'd shut this podcast off and I'd go make love. See you tomorrow. Have fun.